Good morning, friends, or whatever time you're watching this. Today, we're going to talk gateway prepping. So I've got 2 medium onions sliced, 1 really big one sliced, and a couple of tablespoons in the bottom. What I'm doing is I am going to slowly caramelize. I've got this on a medium, close to medium high heat, and I'm gonna break up the onions so that they can start to caramelize. From this, I can go 2 ways. I can make caramelized onion. We could eat those on salads. We could eat those on sandwiches. But what I'm looking to do, so that's the kind of the first realm. You can also, and this is what I'm moving towards today, is make jus for hot roasted kind of French dip sandwiches. So, but I'm going to suggest to you a couple of different ways that this moves into either French onion soup, French dip sandwiches. It could go into a beef broth, and then roasted vegetables stew. There's so many things to do right here off of this jumping off point in the Dutch oven today. And so it's gonna ultimately be our French dips. But lots of ways to go. So let's slowly cook these down. Don't put salt on them at this point, because if you do, it's gonna sweat them and it's not gonna caramelize them. And what we want is a caramelization, so the sweetness comes out and the natural sugars kind of come in. But this is gonna take a couple of minutes. But the magic of video is that, well, it'll be like a flash. So you'll see that I got some color, definitely caramelization, but I had to stop and actually let it sit for a couple of hours because I had a wedding. So I've come back and I'm still building the flavors. So I've got the onions all done, and now I'm starting with a mountain of mushrooms. Again, this is going to be the base to my au jus and my French dips tomorrow for lunch, but it's just a mushroom mountain at the moment. I'll show you the next step any minute now. So this is about 10 minutes worth of cooking down. You can see that mountain is fairly a molehill now. You can still see there's liquid. That's actually quite a bit of liquid. This is without salt. If you salt, you're going to draw the liquid out faster, but you don't get the caramelization. So I'm not salting any of this. I'm using Wegmans beef stock, but it has no salt added, which is great. So once I get everything together, I will, actually, you know what? I might leave the mushroom, I might not dry them. I might not get the caramelization I want because that juice would be so good with the beef broth. Yeah, let's change the plans, friend. Let's change it up. A recipe is just guidelines, you know? It's like a road trip. Sometimes you're going to kind of be moving along, and then you're going to go, no, let's take a detour. Let's take a detour, friends. Let's do it. So I'm going to let this cook a couple minutes. I'm going to add the onions in, and then we're going to add the stock. Here we go. So the onions are in, and getting those guys together. And here comes the block of stock. Let's do it. I probably use, and I don't use it very often, but I probably use beef stock out of the box more. I might have 1 or 2 blocks of stock in the pantry of chicken. I think I have 1 vegetable, 1 chicken right now, but that's just in case I haven't been, I just don't have beef very often in the house, so it's not like I'm making my own beef stock. In fact, most of the time it's out of a box when it comes to beef, but we don't eat a lot of beef, so that's okay. So tomorrow, I'm gonna bring this up to a boil and I'm gonna taste it. Let's see what this tastes like. See how it goes. Okay, that tastes pretty yummy to start with, but it definitely needs some salt and it definitely needs some pepper. So I'm gonna get both of those in there and I'm gonna let it come up to a boil. Okay, on our side trip, we're gonna add 2 bay leaves. Now, this is where it diverges. So tomorrow, so I bought a ½ pound of roast beef, lean and rare roast beef. Tomorrow when I make French dips, I'm gonna bring this up to a boil. I'm gonna dip the meat into this beef broth, mushroom juiced, mushroom onion mixture, which is lovely. And that's gonna bring the rare meat up a little bit, cook it, warm it up a little bit, and then that's gonna go on little Kaiser rolls I have. And then I'm gonna toast that in the broiler with provolone cheese on top with a side bowl of this to dunk, to basically kind of pull the mushrooms and onions out onto the beef and then use the juice to dip into. So that's gonna be great. The other thing that I'm probably gonna do, because I didn't buy a lot of red meat, I didn't buy a lot of roast beef. I probably have enough for 4 sandwiches maybe, but I'm gonna have a lot of juice left over. I'm probably gonna put barley in it and then make it into a soup. The thing about this is that it tastes really beefy because it's got the beef broth in it. And this is 6 portobello mushroom heads chopped into pretty big chunks, as you can see. They were bigger when they started, but that's gonna give us the flavor of meat in a beef broth stew, soupy thing. It could be noodles, it could be barley, like I said, it could be rice, but that's gonna give you the mind kind of trick that you think you're eating beef, because the portobello mushroom can kind of mimic that, but without eating it. The only beef you're eating here is the beef broth, but you're getting all that flavor and all that texture. So this will probably be a beef stew of some sort. I'll let you see it once I get it on the other side, but I'm gonna let this just cook down for probably about a ½ an hour. Let those bay leaves kind of do their thing. I've salt and peppered it really well, and it is a yum-o. So friends, make this. I'll show you, I'll take a picture of the sandwiches tomorrow and add it to this video so you can see it as well, but this is gonna be good. Wish you could taste it. Here, do you want to taste? It's so good. What do you think? Pretty yummy, right? Okay. Love from New Jersey, friends. Okay, friends, here's another detour. So, it's come up to a boil, and I'm actually gonna let it finish boiling, and I'm gonna let it, that's gonna reduce the flavor. But I put the bay leaves in, I put the 2 in, I let them cook for probably about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I took them out because they were beginning, that sweetness of the bay leaf was beginning to overpower the onion and mushroom and beef's flavor, and I don't want that. I'm not looking for an herby kind of soup. I'm looking for a beef broth that I can dunk and dip my sandwich in. So I'm glad I added them, but I'm glad I also took them out sooner than later. Okay, friends, let's let this simmer. Okay, so what you can see is that I've put the meat into the roast beef into the pot. It's cooked it a little bit. I'm gonna put it on top of the roll where there are mushrooms and onions that I've taken out of there. Now I'm putting provolone on top. Oh, that's right. This just gets better and better. Now I'm gonna broil it, put it with the bun. Oh my goodness, friends. Make this. You will not be sad. Okay, so here we have it. so yummy. The only thing that's going to make you sad is if you're a vegetarian. Love from New Jersey.